Einen wunderschönen guten
A
Morgen.
wonderful good morning to you. Welcome to ISH Digital 2021. My name is Lisa Pavischitz, and I would like to welcome you on behalf of World Architects for our series of lectures that we hold in a digital way together with Messe Frankfurt. I will be the facilitator guiding you through the lectures that we have prepared for every morning, 8 to 9 a.m. World Architects has been offering guided tours for many years at the physical ISH, and in order to provide an alternative for you this year, we have put together a digital selection of stands that we believe are worth visiting, and my colleague Sabina Mereros is going to provide the link to you, so feel free to check it out. This lecture is recognized as advanced training by the architectural chambers of various German states, so feel free to get your credit points after the lecture. And if you have any questions, please note them down in the chat. Before I hand over to her, I would like to briefly introduce Barbara Runggatscher. She studied interior design in Rosenheim, and later on she worked in various offices focusing on hotel and office construction projects. Since 2015, she has been the head of interior design at NOAA Network of Architecture based in Bolzano and Berlin. The office has put into implementation a large number of internationally renowned buildings, and Barbara's focus is on creating rooms and spaces where people feel good and the necessary technologies are discreetly in the background. Good morning, Barbara, and over to you. I would also like to wish a good morning to everybody. I'm pleased to have been invited, and it's a pleasure to be with you this morning. To begin with, I would like to briefly introduce the NOAA Architectural Office. It was founded in 2011 by Stefan Rier and Lukas Runga. Andreas Profhanter and Christian Rottensteiner are partners to the office. Andrea Dal Negro is the head of the Berlin office. And as Lisa has said, I am the head of interior design in our main office in Bolzano. Our headquarters, as I said, is in Bozen or Bolzano in southern Tyrol, and we have another office in Berlin. The office is currently comprised of 22 people in various divisions: architecture, interior design, graphics and PR, and we have a lady working in administration. What does NOAA mean? We are more than just an architectural office and an office of interior design. Instead, we are many creative minds cooperating closely with many external partners, our network. This means that we have different people supporting us even in the early stages of design. Our main focus of work is hotels and restaurants. About 90% of our buildings are hotel buildings. I have given the title Behind the Scenes to my presentation because I want to show how we manage to hide away the technological equipment needed in our projects. I'm going to illustrate this by showing three of our hotel projects. First, the Apfel Hotel, finalized in July 2020, Cavallino Bianco, which was completed in June 2016, and the Zallinger Hotel, dating back to 2017. But let me now start with Apfel Hotel. Apfel Hotel is located in the Passaiatal Valley near Murano. And due to the fact that it is so close to Murano, the climate is a Mediterranean one. So we have extended summers and shorter winters. This hotel project is very complex starting from a farm, actually, that focused on growing apple trees. This is a map or kind of sketch outlining the position of the hotel in the midst of the apple plantations. We have numerous buildings here with various functionalities built or arranged around a central garden, and this garden hosts a central wellness area. And you can see this in the picture. On the very left, you can see the main building with the kitchen and the restaurant in it. Behind it, we see the residential building, the home of the owner family. Next to it, we have the so-called Stadel. This is where guests' rooms are in the first and second floor, whereas agricultural rooms are in the ground floor. And on the right, we see 3 new houses with new garden suites, 17 in total. And around it, you see the large gardenscape with the wellness area and a small outdoor sauna that was hidden away under a mold of earth. So you can see very well how these buildings are embedded in the apple plantation landscape. The Apfel Hotel, or Apple Hotel in English, is very much devoted to the cultivation of apples, and the owners or hosts are very hardworking people. They produce apple juice, apple cider, and many other apple-based products. These are a few impressions of the newly built complex, the addition or annex to the previously existing main building. We have 3 cubes that act as a kind of winter garden. They are glazed on all sides. They have huge window fronts, which of course can be opened in summer. And this picture very well illustrates the contrast between outdoors and indoors. And of course, there is always an openness toward the garden, whether the windows are open or closed. There is a visual openness. Here you can see the vista from the restaurant into the garden. You see that we have used many beautiful natural materials, and the colors have been kept natural as well. Look at these beautiful basket-type structures, the different pieces of furniture, chairs, and easy chairs that lead to a warm farmhouse character of the atmosphere. And by the way, the restaurant is excellent. You can dine very nicely there. And we created a ceiling that reflects a pergola. Look at the suspended lamps and the pots with the plants in them. This is just meant to introduce a feeling of closeness to nature. This is a view toward the main building. So this is a little hallway leading to the existing building. Again, you see those many basket-type lamps, the ceiling that makes the cubes visible. And you can see a large stone well where you can take fresh water by yourself. And by the way, the well is part of the large buffet, which actually is present in both the buildings. Now, when it comes to technological requirements in this restaurant area, we have the heating for the wintertime. It was designed as a floor heating covering the entire surface area. We have complete automatic ventilation of these rooms. There is a central ventilation system. Ducts are used to transport the air to the individual rooms, and it was really necessary to provide for effective cooling because outdoor air is very hot in summer, and of course we wanted to keep the restaurant and the other rooms agreeable to stay around in and to dine. Here I have brought a floor plan. On the left you can see how the ventilation system was designed. You see the ducts running along the ceiling, and you also can see the air circulating devices that provide for cooling. In the final plan, it looks a little different, as you can see on the right. So there is a lot of complexity at the ceiling. The red ducts represent the supply air that is guided from the basement through a main duct to the ceiling. And you see the individual flexible ducts taking the air toward the facade. The yellow ducts that you see here provide cooling. Actually, the cooling device or recirculating air device feeds the ducts that take the air to the facade. This is a picture taken during the construction phase. You can see how it works at the ceiling, how the air is taken to the facade with the black flexible ducts. You see the grid boxes that feed in the air, and you can see a picture of what it looks like on the right after it has been installed, and in the lower right you can see what it looks like now that the building has been finished and the interior has been finished. So we just see those tiny ventilation outlets that we actually covered with or painted in color corresponding to the ceiling. And here we see another example of how cooling is provided to the room. On the very left, we can see the large air circulator placed on the ceiling, feeding the flexible ducts, which then take the cool air to the facade. This device must allow for easy maintenance. Filters have to be replaced now and then, and should there be a technical issue, it must be easily accessible any time. So we decided to take one square from the ceiling in such a way as to enable it to be folded down to allow maintenance access. And on the very right, you see what it looks like in its closed state. You wouldn't even notice that the technological equipment is hidden there. 3 pictures taken at the building site. Again, the air circulator on the ceiling and how it has been mounted. The condenser lines of the device are connected to a duct, and you see the huge flap or opening that guarantees easy maintenance, and then you see the different manifolds leading to different floor heating circuits, and this wall was then covered with furniture. Now let me move on to the next part of this hotel complex, the wellness area. The wellness area is built into a little hill, basically. So you enter the hill from the back, as you can see it here. The entrance to the wellness area is encircled by concrete, and you see the beautiful wooden door leading to the wellness area. From the front, the wellness area is totally open, and you can see clearly the 2-story structure. This photo was taken in the interior. You can see that it's very cozy and amenable. There are different areas to sit, different lounges. natural materials have been used. And again, you see the braided lamps. A chimney is at the center of attention to emphasize the cozy character of the room. The surface of the chimney was roughened using a special technique, and the colors are very harmonious, natural hues. This is the view towards the front. At the front, you see the building opening towards the large apple plantations, and here we can see the place where you enter the pool and you can swim out there from the indoor area to the outdoor area. It's open and it's fully heated, and the resting areas have double beds and single beds or reclines for people to rest. And they have been designed in agreement with the restaurant style, including the braided lamps.
In this case, these are standing lights, standing lamps. Here, a closed resting room. In this area, you see the chosen materials, fabrics, the nice design of the beds for rest, and always this plant-type aspect which we wanted to take inside, which is not so easy in a swimming pool because the plants don't harmonize that well with the chlorine. But in this closed room, and if the ventilation works well, this can work, and the plants can even survive quite well. Here, the Finnish sauna on the first floor of the wellness complex, the round form, very special. Here, underlined by the skylight, this produces kind of a draft to the top, and through the large window surface, this generous view is underlined time and again. Also, the view on the apple plantations time and again. So this is very beautiful in terms of design. The wellness area, of course, has strict requirements regarding techniques, technical facilities, not only the heating. The heating is realized with underfloor heating, but on the facade, this is also accompanied by floor-type sectors. The ventilation and the cooling is also very important in this room, given the large glass facades. Even in summer, there may be overheating. Therefore, the cooling is all the more important. This is based here on the help of the floor convectors, which are mounted on the facade, like the ventilation, which means that the facades don't get foggy. So good ventilation need to work very well here to make this, to guarantee this condition. Here we see this complex. The black area is earth completely. This hill to the front of the building opens in the middle of the indoor-outdoor pool, and you can see all the floor convectors like at the front of the facade. There's also a lowered ceiling with ceiling ducts, especially the suction. The discharge works through wall-mounted ducts. You can see it well here, a few photos from the construction site. To the left, you can see kind of a pillar in which the wall grids are built in, especially for the vent air of the entire room. In the middle, another example of the discharge air. And in reality, in the ready-made product, you can see it up in a pillar in a ventilation grid in wall color. which is there for the discharge air, the vent air. Here an example for the floor convectors in the front, and below the boxes on the picture to the left you see these mountings in the floor. To the right-hand side at the front you can see the venting grids on the air, taking in the air. The third complex, which we finished last summer, are these three houses. They have a connection corridor at the rear. There are the garden suites accommodated there on 3 stories, 17, all of them together in sum total. At the top, in the roof story, there are 2-story character because of the high roof areas. To the rear, you can also see a section of the wellness unit, and then the view to the large garden. Here, a view of one of the garden suites in the direction of the wellness station. It was very important for us to establish this context between outside and inside time and again. Hence, from the rooms, you can directly go to this garden section. There are also suspended beds on the terraces, on the ground floor, and also above, in order to offer the guests the possibility to stay a lot outside. Here, a photo of one of the roof story suites. You see the staircase leading upstairs to the second floor, to the gable of the roof. The cabinet, the wardrobe is arranged in this way, also below the staircase and on the part above it. You can see areas which can also be used as a third or fourth bed. You see nicely the use of a lot of wood. This is something we had very much at heart, and wood has something very special. For example, in the wardrobe doors, you can see it very well. In this wood cladding, we applied a special laser technology to produce a very nice pattern which was lasered in as a specific feature in these rooms. This photo shows a picture of the ground floor of the rooms with a view towards the apple plantations, the double bed and the lounge type situation to the left. The technical requirements to the garden suites, of course, were the heating on the one hand. With the help of underfloor heating, this was realized on the full surface, be it in the area of the bathroom, but also in the area of the rooms. And of course, there's also requirements regarding cooling in the long summer months, because there's the risk of overheating the rooms. And the cooling was realized with the help of recirculation equipment on the ceiling. These recirculation equipments, as you can see here on the layout, are accommodated in the water closet and bidet areas. Those are always in a separate room, whilst the bathroom and the washroom has an open design. The recycling device is in the water closet, in the toilet, and the suction in of the air happens by means of ventilation grids at the rear, and the cold air is blown out at the front by means of ventilation grids. Here, a construction site photo. To the left, conventional underfloor heating on the entire surface. And to the right, you can see the ready-made product. You see the open design of the bathrooms to wash stands with the mirrors behind and above these lowered ceiling. Here to the left again, the construction site photo with a lowered ceiling and the raw installation of the ventilation unit and the cooling unit. And to the right-hand side, you see the ready-made final product. We didn't need we didn't have to automatically build in the ventilation because of the large window surfaces which can be open, so we could live up quite well to the ventilation conditions there. In the suites, in the roof story, the cooling is a bit different. We don't have a straight ceiling for the recirculating convectors. Therefore, we used standing equipment with the recirculation convectors. In this case, they put it in the wardrobe below the staircase. You see it on the picture to the left, next to the mirror. You see the part where the air can be sucked in and where the cold air can be discharged. This takes me to the second project, which I want to show you. That's the Cavallino Bianco project. Cavallino Bianco is a family hotel. They have specialized on families, especially the children of the families. In this project, we had an existing building. The facade was not changed, but we designed 88 suites in the interior and in aesthetic terms, but also technically speaking, had to be taken to the most recent state of the art. That was made ready in June 2016. It's in the Grödner Valley in St. Ulrich. That's where it's located, near to the Dolomite Mountains, in the midst of the Dolomite Mountains. Hence here, the winter season is the main season. The Cavallino Bianco is an all-year operation. It's open throughout the year, only with a short break of 2 weeks to do some necessary work. But apart from that, the hotel is open throughout the year. But the focus definitely is on the winter season. Here we can see a photo of the ready-made product. The family rooms are very special. That is to say, we have a parents' room and a children's room. The rooms can be completely separated. The rooms can be closed and locked by various sliding doors, but fold up elements too, like in the air of the bench, where you can provide a very open design. And as I said, the focus in the hotel is on the children. The children are more important than the parents in this case, and they get the space to the front, to the facade. To one window, there's the children's room, in the middle of the room, the parents' room, and to the very end, there are the 2 bathrooms. There is a bathroom both for the parents and for the children and for the parents separate. Here, an impression of the lounge area, which 2 armchairs. The room is enlarged by the large mirrors. Here, the view from the children's room. In the children's room, a third bed can also be accommodated by means of a fold-up raised bed. Hence, if there's a third child, it is folded out at the top. The requirements in technical terms were quite special. Of course, on the one hand, the heating It was realized with heaters very conventionally, also because the lines were already there for it in this hotel. The requirements regarding cooling, although we have very long winters, the summers also become quite warm and always warmer, as we know, because of the climate change. So we need to install cooling in the rooms. Apart from that, the rooms are completely automatically ventilated. And we also wanted to realize humidification, because otherwise the rooms might dry out. And in order to create a pleasant interior climate, the rooms are automatically humidified. While it looks like that, it's an existing building. It was an existing building, therefore a big ventilation equipment was directly built into the roof below the gable, and the rooms have shafts over the entire story, six of them altogether, with shafts and ducts over the entire stories, and from there the rooms are fed. To the top right-hand corner, you see such a ventilation scheme. That is the layout of one of the rooms from which we have seen the photographs. To the right, to the rear of the right-hand side, you can see the parents' bathroom with a ventilation duct marked in yellow. And from there, both the discharge air and the intake air are provided. The intake air through the bathroom and into the camber, which goes through the entire room. And both the parents' room and the children's room are completely ventilated.
The recirculating air unit is placed in the middle of the room, so cooling occurs at a central place in the room, and actually it has been installed in a piece of furniture. I'm going to show you where in a minute. This is a more beautiful floor layout of the room. So here you can see beautifully how the room is subdivided thanks to the various options of how to close off or open areas between the rooms. You can see you have various options. The parents' room can be closed off easily. You have the opening toward the terrace, and you have two separate sanitary units. In the rear, you have the one for the parents with the toilet, the bidet, the shower, and the wash basin. And for the kids, we have a bathtub, a small hand wash basin, and a larger basin, which can also be used as a baby's bathtub. It has the ideal shape for bathing a baby. And we also have a toilet in the children's bathroom. It is a smaller toilet like you have in kindergartens, and it is at the height that children need for ergonomic reasons. And this is what it looks like in practical installation. The cooling unit was installed in this wardrobe, and you can see the wardrobe on the right. You can open the entire wardrobe or cabinet element, and inside the recirculating air convector unit was installed. From the lower right, in the recess where you see the magazines, the air is drawn in, and on the upper recess, the recirculated, cooled air comes out. And here you can see what covers the entire length of the room from the terrace, from the entrance to the facade. It has all the tubes and ducts that take both humidification and fresh air to the room. And you see the shaft penetrating all the floors and opening into each individual room. And now the last project I've brought to show you. This is the Mountain Hotel Saarlinger. It is a hotel, but actually the focus is on restaurant operations. This place is at more than 2,000 meters above sea levels on the Seiser Alm, which is in the middle of the Dolomite Mountains near Bolzano. The landscape here is very characteristic. You can see it in this picture. Here again, we don't have just one single building. Instead, we have a complex of hotel buildings. It's made up of various individual buildings, and the original arrangement of this ensemble was taken as a basis. In the past, this mountain farm was used in an agricultural way, so this arrangement was made up by various agricultural buildings in the past. And we actually mirrored this arrangement of buildings in our great hotel. You see the 6 chalet-type houses in the 4. Each of them hosts 4 rooms. So in total, we have 24 rooms. The houses are built from 100% timber. They are single-story houses. And the larger building in the rear is the main building that hosts the restaurant, the kitchen, and the bar. To the left of it, we can only see the roof right now. This is the employees' building for the employees of the business, because this hotel is so far away from the valley that you cannot go up and down every day. And a former stable was converted to a wellness facility, and in the rear we see a church rounding off the entire arrangement. And in this picture, we see the extremes of the region. We have extreme winters with a lot of snow, with a lot of wind. So it can happen that you'll find it difficult to make your way from your room to the breakfast room. But on the other hand, this makes this hotel something very special. Here you see how much snow we sometimes have, the chalet houses with their suspended facade, and the windows of the individual rooms. The rooms are built side by side. They have large glazed window areas at the front. You can close or open them completely. And these windows at the same time provide for separation between the rooms. Here we see a central hallway leading to the individual rooms. So you enter the rooms to the left and to the right. This hall is closed at the top, so you are well protected from the weather here. And this is a view of the interior of the rooms. We have a very open bathroom layout. However, the toilet and the bidet are in a closed room or an enclosed space, whereas the shower, the wash basin, and other bathroom furniture items are in an open area. And you can see the stairs leading up to the gable room, a second level where you have a lounging corner for maybe just resting or reading. And actually, you can also put up another bed there. Here you can see the gable room with the lounge situation, and in the 4 you see the bed with its view over the mountains. This is what the bar looks like. We took a huge tree trunk, and it serves as the actual bar table, and the tree was felled nearby, and you see how these different types of furniture are contrasting here. We see the conifer wood, which is typical of the region, and the contrasting elements. And here we see the lounging areas with coziness as the main theme. The large windows enable you to enjoy the beautiful mountain landscape from the inside. And we actually have both an acoustic and an atmospheric benefit from the wooden walls. This is a view of the restaurant. It was important for the restaurant tables to be arranged flexibly because they have daytime guests too. So we have this special lamp system which enables easy moving of the lamps to go with the tables. And again, we have the wooden wall coverings in order to provide both acoustic insulation and a sense of coziness. And here there is an impression of the sauna. It is part of the wellness facility. It is a completely underground sauna, so it has been built into a mound, and it has a large window surface at the front, looking out the mound and giving you a beautiful vista of the mountains. Requirements on this project included heating for the cold winter months. We have radiators in the individual guest rooms, floor heatings in the bathrooms. In the public areas, we used floor heating throughout. Ventilation requirements covered both chalet rooms and the public areas. In the chalet rooms, we have a decentralized ventilation mounted directly on the facade, whereas in the public areas, an automatic ventilation system was installed, and we actually have a central ventilation system here. So this is what the plan tells us. The central ventilation unit is placed in the basement, and the rooms are supplied via ducts leading to the rooms. And in part, they are directly mounted in the ceiling. And to wrap it up, just a few examples from practice or from the construction site. On the left, you see what the floor heating looks like during the construction phase, and you see the exhaust air duct at the top. And on the right, you see the finished product, and you can't see anything of the ventilation duct anymore, and you won't see the floor heating anyway, right? And here we have a picture of the restaurant, the large ventilation ducts along the ceiling with their flexible tubes or ducts, and we see fresh supply air coming in, and in the rear we see the openings in the ceiling where exhaust air is sucked in and removed. The last picture again shows the chalets, the houses constructed from timber. And again, we see the decentralized ventilation units beautifully, these opening in the facade, which of course, toward the end, were closed up and were hidden away from view. A few words on this hotel with a view to the climate. The hotel received the Climate Hotel certificate. This is a very special certificate because there is a list of criteria that this hotel had to fulfill. Many different criteria are listed there, not just with a view to energy, but also with a view to buildings materials. The building materials are supposed to be natural, reused wood mainly, and saving water as well as the reuse of rainwater are also key. When it came to the interior, we had to comply with acoustic requirements or sound insulation requirements as well as the indoor climate. And the hotel has a mission. It must communicate with people and it must educate them. For instance, this is a completely car-free hotel. You must leave your car in the valley and somebody will shuttle you up, and there is no TV in the room, so it's all nature. Thank you for your kind attention. I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you so much, Barbara, for this beautiful presentation. My longing for a vacation is growing tremendously, but where does your love of hotels come from? What do you particularly like about designing hotels? What I particularly like is the fact that you can make beautiful rooms that people feel comfortable in. It's a fast process, I have to say. Building hotels is something that takes up only a short period of time, and this is why we are able to do so many projects. There are so many different requirements placed on hotels, and that gives us a host of different possibilities.
What about Corona, where the requests regarding retrofits in ventilation, for example, not only in hotels but also in restaurants? Yes, there are a few amendments with a view to Corona, not only regarding the ventilation, but in some total in the entire organization, like in the buffet, or various changes in the rooms themselves. There you can see that the hotel and restaurant owners and operators need to rethink. Now, they are very sensitive now with a view to hygiene, distance keeping, and everything regarding ventilation. Well, I think this will accompany us for quite a while still. Well, having said this, let me also thank you for listening and watching. Let me tell you that you get a certificate if you use your member number and all the rest on the internet. And tomorrow we'll continue on energy concepts with high tech and low tech. And you're welcome once again tomorrow morning. See you again. Thank you very much for now. Bye-bye.